This is our Yamaha Sport model Waverunner. This model accommodates 3 riders. It is a little bit smaller than the Deluxe and the base model. It is powered by a TR1 1000cc Yamaha motor. It does have forward, neutral, reverse, and the brake feature that is provided by Yamaha's ride system, which is new to the industry also. The Sport model is definitely the most agile model that we have in our fleet. It's not as good for riding 3 people. Even though it is rated for 3 people, it's better to ride 1 or 2 on the Sport model, just because it's tippier. We're going to go through the operational control of the Sport model. The first thing that's most important is make sure that you're wearing your kill switch. It's a bracelet that you put on, and you have to plug it in underneath the kill switch button. The significance of that is that if you fall off the machine, it will pull the kill switch, it'll shut the machine off, and you'll be able to swim back and get on. Okay, to start the machine, make sure you're wearing your kill switch. Kill switch is plugged in. You have your start button, which is the green button labeled start on your left-hand side. You would hold that until the machine starts. To stop the machine, you have a button labeled stop on the left-hand side. You press that, or pulling the kill switch also works. Okay. Once you have the machine started, it will actually be in neutral. Your dash right here will show the neutral icon. In neutral, you have no momentum moving forward or backward, but you do have steering from side to side. To put the machine into forward, your forward throttle is on your right hand. You have to simply click the forward throttle once, and it will gauge the machine into forward. In forward, you idle at about 2 to 3 miles per hour. To go faster, you simply squeeze the throttle tighter. Okay, if you want to put the machine back in neutral, you simply click the left-hand throttle once, and you'll see your gauge you'll see the dashboard switch over to N for neutral. You'll really feel the machine start to lose momentum and slow down. If you're still approaching something too quickly and you want to slow down more and actually come to a complete stop, you click the left hand and you actually squeeze it. So squeezing the left hand puts you in reverse, and it'll start to bring the machine backwards. Okay? This also works cruising at higher speeds. If you want to slow down faster, you squeeze the left-hand throttle as tight as you can. The dash on the Sport model will show you the speed that you're going, the gear that you're in, the RPM that you're at, and the fuel. It's important to keep an eye on the fuel. Okay? The fuel is 4 bars and it goes down 1 at a time. When you get to 1 bar, you should be going back and getting gas because you're below 1/4 tank. The fuel cap on the Sport model is found on the port or the left-hand side. The Yamaha Sport model has all the safety equipment underneath the driver's seat. So there's a latch at the back of the seat that you release. You lift the seat up. Here you'll find a fire extinguisher, an anchor in lieu of a paddle, and a safety kit. PWCs by law have to have either a paddle or an anchor. So we provide an anchor on this one because there's less space. The safety kit contains a rope, whistle, flashlight, and bailer. We always provide you with the appropriate number of fitted life jackets for your day on the water. Okay, I'm going to do a docking demonstration for the Deluxe Waverunner now. We're going to come in straight to the dock, and then when we're about 20 feet away, we're going to turn on a 45-degree angle and put the machine into neutral. So I'm in forward idle right now. We're going to turn on the 45-degree angle and click the machine into neutral using our left hand. As we approach the dock even closer, we're going to use reverse by squeezing the left-hand throttle and turning the machine sideways. Okay, then you simply grab the dock and bolt. Okay, each of our Waverunners come with 2 fenders and a mooring line. These are to be used when you're docking and walking away from the machine for a while. They're both kept in the front storage hatch, which can be just lifted this way. Okay. One fender or bumper goes at the front. This is the orientation of the bumper. It goes around the bumper line, up around the gunnel of the machine, and then you have a rope which is to be tied on for safety so it doesn't wiggle loose and float away. Similarly, you have one for the back that goes on the same way. You space them out about 1 meter apart. At the back, there's a handle that you can tie to. Once the fenders are in place, you take the rope and you attach the PWC to the dock. The rope is 15 feet long. It has one loop at the end. We take the main section of the rope, put it through the loop to make a bigger loop, go around the handlebar, hold this tight. We then go through one ring or one cleat on the dock, and then we go back around the back handle. It is important that we pull all the slack out of this rope so just the bumpers or the fenders are touching the dock. Then we tie our knot at the back. This system is effective because it does not allow the machine to do this against the dock, which causes a lot of scratching damage on the paint. We have one of our Waverunners rolled up on its side to show you the intake grate and where the water has to flow through to power this machine. All of the machines are the same, but we're using a deluxe in this example. It's also important to note that we do not want you to roll these up on their sides yourselves. We have a shallow, sandy area that's safe to do this, but in the open water it can be dangerous. So all the water for this machine has to be powered, has to flow through this intake grate. We're on Pigeon Lake right now, and Pigeon does have some weedy areas. So what can happen with Waverunners is if you drive through shallow weedy areas, the weeds can break off and clump up over top of this intake grate. If the water's not able to freely flow through that intake grate, you significantly lose power, and the motor is actually not being cooled by the water that's supposed to be passing through there. How to identify when you have weeds is very easy. The machine loses power to the point where it will not get up and go on plane. Your max speed when you have weeds might be around 10 kilometers an hour versus 80 otherwise, so it's very noticeable. When you have weeds, it's not a big deal to fix it. It's very easy. You shut the machine off, you have the machine upright, and you reach underneath, okay? You pull them out, they'll be clumped on top and they'll be out about this far. You reach underneath, you pull out a few handfuls, and then the machine is clear. Whatever little bit of weeds that are left on there will shoot through the back of it. What's more significant is if you're towing a tube and you drive over the tube rope. The tube rope will be sucked up into the impeller in a second, and it'll suck up about 20 feet of the rope, actually disabling the machine and binding the motor. If that happens, unfortunately, you do have to be towed back to the dock. We have to put it on a trailer and cut out the rope. All of our machines are capable of towing tubes, wakeboards, and skis. If you wish to tow somebody, it's important that you use the correct tow point. There's a cleat underneath the back of the seat of each of our models. It's a steel cleat, and that's where your rope should be attached to, not the plastic handle. Okay? For towing, you must have a driver and a spotter on the machine. Also, you must have enough room for whoever's on the equipment, let's say it's a tube, to get back on the machine. What's important to note is that this means you can only tow one person at a time. Since there are 3 seaters, driver, spotter, enough room for who's on the tube to get back on the machine equals 3 people. What's also important when you're towing, as we mentioned in the section with weeds, is to not drive over the tube rope. What happens is basically it sucks into the impeller and it disables the machine. How to avoid that is to, when you're driving, you always keep the machine in forward. If someone falls off the tube or falls off the wakeboard, the driver slows down the speed, does a wide circle, keeping the rope fully extended behind the machine at all times until they intercept the person in the water with the rope. Then they either shut the machine off or just idle while the person positions themselves to go again. It's also the spotter's responsibility to ensure that the rope does not have any slack in it and does not get sucked up underneath the machine. If they notice this is happening, they're the fail-safe to pick the rope up and keep it away from the back of the impeller.